So here it is, guys. Here it is my guide for the Aramusha, the mix-up master himself. I did a guide on the Gladiator whenever he first came out, and I really enjoyed it. A lot of people said it helped him out. So this is just my guide on the Aramusha. This is not like the best way to play him, the worst way to play him. You know, this is just how I play him myself. So there might be better ways, better tactics. If you guys have anything that anything I forget, throw it in the comments. That way the people who are watching the video can get that input as well. Because, you know, I'm probably going to miss a few things here and there. I'm not perfect. But we'll go ahead and get started by looking at the guy's move list here, just to kind of give you an idea of what he can do. So he has an infinite chain. He can do infinite chain with with a heavy and light. He can alternate between the two. One thing, or the biggest thing with him really, is that in order to alternate the chain, he has to go to the top at some point. So, for example, if I start over here and I throw a light, I cannot light from the same side. I cannot light from the left and then throw light from the right. I can't do it. I'm trying right now. It won't work. So if you want to continue your chain, you have to go to the top, just like that. Now, as long as you touch the top, you can go anywhere. So boom, 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 boom. As long as you touch the top at some point, you can constantly go. That's why a lot of people like to open up their attacks using the top, because if you open up from here, right, they know your next attack has to be up top. However, if you open up from the top, they don't know if it's going to come from the right side or the left side. So it kind of gives you a little 50-50. It's not a full 50-50 because it is reactable. You know, it definitely can be done. But you have more of a chance of getting the second attack off if you start with the top. As of right now, since he first came out, you're going to be able to land this. But later on in the game, once people start to figure that out, you're not going to be able to land that. People are going to know that, you know, you have to stop the top. So that's how his infinite chain works. So more on his infinite chain here. Now you can alternate this infinite chain with heavies and light attacks, or you can do all lights or all heavies. Same properties go for the heavies as well. If I go heavy left, I cannot go heavy right afterwards. I have to touch the top. So I can't go heavy left, heavy right. It stays to my left. So I can go heavy top. I can go right, top. I can go top, left, or right, you know, but at some point it has to touch the top. You can also alternate between the light and heavy as well. So you can go light, heavy. You can go heavy, light. You can go heavy, heavy. You can go light, heavy. You can do however you want as long as you're alternating between the, you know, your side stances and your top stance. Later on, like I said, once you get into higher levels and the character is out for a longer period of time, it's going to be more difficult to land this one right here. So you're going to have to mix it up by throwing in some heavy attacks. You know, maybe you do this and feint it, you know. But we'll cover more of that stuff later. This guy's strongest characteristic is not necessarily in feinting with circle. It's more feinting with soft feints, and we'll get to that here in a minute. So the real mix-up potential and what I think is going to make the character last is his soft feints. Like I said, you're not going to be able to land this too much once he's been out for a while. So what I will do is I like to attack the same side and utilize my soft feint. Now the only way, and this got me for quite some time, that I was getting really upset, like why the hell can I soft feint? But the only way you can soft feint is if you do two attacks from the same side. It has to be a finisher. So for example, I cannot go light on the right side and then light up top and then change direction and do it heavy. I'll show you. I can throw it, but that is not soft feintable. Now what is soft feintable is if I go light and then I go light and I do the top from the same side, which is going to be the top stance. That becomes soft feintable. So check it out. I can change that to any direction I want. Now you cannot soft feint in the same direction that your original attack is coming from. So what I mean by that is I cannot do this. So since my attack is coming from the right, I can now throw another heavy right after that, and that heavy is soft feintable because it's coming from the same side. So I can do this and change it. Or I can do this. I'm sorry. And I can change it right there. Now I cannot try to soft feint from the same side. It can't be done. Now right after you complete your soft feint, you can continue your chain like this. You know, and you can mix it up. As long as you continue that chain, you're good. Now, after you soft feint, same properties go. You have to go to the top in order to continue your chain. That's why a lot of people will like to soft feint to the top, because if you soft feint to the side, they know your next attack has to come from the top. So if I soft feint here and I want to continue, they know that next attack has to come up top. So what a lot of people will do is they will soft feint to the top. That way they have the option to continue their chain. Next thing we'll look at here is his rushing wind. It's basically just like a dodge attack, really. Cool thing about this one is you can actually cancel this. So if I dodge forward, R2, that's the attack. I can also feint that. And you can feint that a lot. It's actually a really cool mix-up. I do it all the time. You can do that from any side. It's pretty cool because most dodging characters that have like a dodging forward attack, it usually comes from the same side every single time. But with this guy, you can actually do all three sides. And his top one has hyper armor, so you can trade with somebody if you need to trade, maybe get that last hit or something. But you can also feint this one as well. So you can feint that into a guard break. If you do something like this, a lot of people are going to try to parry it, or a lot of other Aramushas are going to try to do their full guard stance. And they pop the full guard, that's a free guard break right then and there. A lot of things that I will do, just like some mix-ups that I'll throw in there. Your zone, right? Your first attack always comes from the right side, right there. And you can feint that second portion. So what I will do is I'll actually dodge forward and do my dodge attack and fake it into the zone, like this. Oh shit, hang on. I like to do it from the top or left side. I don't want to fake it from the same side in case their guard goes that way. So if I do top, you fake it. And then after you fake it, you do zone. But yeah, I usually don't do it from the same side because their guard's going to be in that direction. So the next portion requires me to get this other bot. One thing to note about the Aramusha, if you guys already don't know, is that you do not get a heavy off of a guard break. Yeah, come on, guy. So if I guard break this cat, that heavy is not guaranteed. I mean, I might get it off on the bot, but this is not a guaranteed heavy right here. So a lot of times if you're going to guard break and you're near a wall, you definitely want to go for the wall splat if you're trying to land a heavy. So, I mean, self-explanatory as it is, I grab this guy, I get him on the wall, and then I can actually hit him with the heavy. Now, I mean, right after that heavy, you can continue your chain. That's why if you hit that heavy, you want to go for the top heavy. That way, afterwards, you have the option to continue your chain if you want to. Come here, guy. Let me... Alright, I might cut it here and there if this guy's being difficult with me. So if I go to the top right here, then I can continue my chain. Yeah, that's what you want to... The point here is that you want to keep your opponent on his toes. Anytime you can take a top attack guaranteed, you need to take it. That way you have the option to either feint it into another top attack. Because look, like I said, if you go from the same side, right? If I go from the same side, I can now feint that attack. I can soft feint it. And I can soft feint it to either side so the opponent doesn't know. That's why you want to begin with the top. So if you can take a free top, you want to go with that free top. Hey bro, calm down, alright? So I go with the top right here, then I can continue my chain. Just like normal. Yeah, so that's really what it gets to. I mean, that's one thing you have to know with this guy. Whenever you guard break, there's nothing guaranteed. So in all honesty, I don't really go for guard breaks. If I get parries, I just go straight into my chain. Like if I get a parry and it's a heavy parry, I'm gonna go straight into my chain on my light attacks and just go to town there, because there's no need to guard break and waste your stam unless you're in the close range of a wall and you can get a wall splat. Now, light parries, I mean, this raider's not going to throw any lights, but if you get a light parry, you still do get a guaranteed heavy. That's still a thing. That's about the only time you can get guaranteed heavies with this guy, man. I don't know if any changes are going to be coming in the future. I don't see why he shouldn't. I don't see why he can't get that attack, that heavy off a guard break, but we'll see what happens in the future. So now we're getting to the nastiest part of this guy, and the part that I think separates good Aramushas from average Aramushas. Is this guy gonna kill me? Jesus. Yeah, the blade blockade. Full stance blade block is what separates good Aramushas from average Aramushas. If you can learn to master this, which I'm getting much, much better at, that's gonna change and put you on a whole nother level. So I'll show you what you can do. Whenever you do it, whenever you land it, you can press square and you get a kick. Now the kick doesn't do any damage or anything, but it will wall splat the enemy, and if they wall splat, you get a free heavy. So boom, I don't know if you'll hit that wall. Oh, you did. All right, cool. Yeah, if I would have thrown a heavy, I would have been able to land that, just like this. And if I can, I'm going to go with the top heavy, because if I get the top heavy, then I can continue my chain, right? Next thing he can do here, after you get the full block stance, is you have a stunning tap you can do right here. After you press it, you press R1, you stun tap him, and he's dazed. You see the little concussion around his head. He can't really see very well, does a stamina drain as well. So what a lot of people will do after they land it, they hit him, and then they'll get a guard break. It's not a free guard break, don't by any means, but you know, it's something you might be able to pull off. It's just like I said, this is my guy. These are things that I do. It's not going to work every single time, you know. But it's not, it's not too hard to get it. By the way, to full guard stance, you press down on the right stick, like as if it was a hidden stance for Nobushi, and it is much more responsive than Nobushi's hidden stance. I will say for sure, like by far. Another thing you can do after you get the full block. Are you gonna throw an attack, my guy? There you go. Oh my god. All right. So another thing you can do after you get this full block stance, you can stun, but right after you stun, it's a good idea maybe if you could throw some light attacks in there as well, because he's concussed. He can't really see, and the light attacks are pretty fast. So why not give it a shot? Those are some other things you can do with this guy. Alright, and the third and final thing you can do out of this full block stance is definitely his best feature right here. After you do it, you press R2, you switch your stance to the top, and you will get a heavy attack. Now, it's not guaranteed, but it is extremely difficult to react to. So I can do it just like that, and as long as I change my stance to the top, I'll land it. Now, I can continue my chain right afterwards. Right after I throw this top attack, you best believe you can throw another top heavy, and you can feint that top heavy. See? Alright, I'll show you here in a second. So after you get this this all block stance, and I throw a top heavy, you can throw that second one since it's an attack from the same direction. Just like I was saying earlier, it's an attack from the same direction, which means it is heavy feintable. So once I pop this and I go top, if I throw a second top heavy, I can soft feint that heavy, and I guarantee you're gonna catch a lot of folks off guard with that shit. Not this bot though. Look at this guy. But you don't have to do that top. If you don't want to, your second attack can still be something like this. And the bot blocked it again. Jesus. He blocked it again! Alright, you get the idea. Most normal people might not react to that, especially since it's coming from the top. You have a 50-50 between the two sides, and you can throw a light attack. And what I will do is so I will get the top block, and then I'll go with the heavy, that heavy that you get after the all guard stance. And after I throw it, either I will go for the second top heavy and I'll feint it, or I'll go with the side light, which you're almost always going to land that side light, whatever light it's from, whichever side it's from. And then after the side light, I throw a heavy from that same side, because any heavy attack thrown from the same side is going to be soft feintable. So, for example, I'm going to execute him. I'll show you here in a second. If the bot doesn't block it, you'll see here what I'm talking about. Boom. And then I fake it. And fuck, the point is to soft fake that. Damn. Yeah, I'm going to end up executing him. But you see, after I throw this light, I want to soft feint right afterwards. And this bot, bots don't really bite on feints too much, and the reaction is not the same as a normal person. So you really do catch a lot of people off guard with that. I mean, it happens often. Alright, so another thing you can do here after you get this all block stance is, instead of going with the top heavy, you go with the side heavy. Boom. Side heavy is automatically going to be an unblockable attack. And the thing about this one is, you don't have to throw a second attack to make this one soft feintable. So check me out. After I throw this here, I can actually soft feint this. And dude, it's so dirty. That is one of the dirtiest mix-ups in this character's kit, for sure. Now, here, I'll show you here in a second. Now, one thing that's really cool about this is, yes, you get that heavy, but look, like I said, you can, oh lord, you can throw that unblockable, but after you throw the unblockable, Dang, man, if this bot would just give me a second. After you throw the unblockable, like I said, you can soft feint that in any direction. But the attack after the soft feint, for some reason, you don't need to throw 2 attacks afterwards to soft feint. I'll show you what I mean. I'll show you what I mean right here. So I can soft feint that, and then see how I threw the light from the left side, and then I switched back to the right to throw a heavy. And for some reason, that heavy was soft feintable. I didn't have to throw a heavy from that side. So I was actually able to do 2 soft feints back to back right there. I'll show you again. See that? And yeah, bro, that's one of this guy's most lethal mix-ups right there. And you know, that's why I said, if you want to, because this is just my personal opinion, guys, and I don't think I'm a great Aramusha. I don't think, you know, I'm hot shit. But what I'm saying is, what is gonna differentiate a good Aramusha from a great Aramusha is gonna be the ability to master this all guard stance, knowing what you can and cannot do. You can also fake that into a guard break. The bot just wrecked me, but you can also just fake that into a guard break as well. After you get this all block stance, you can let it go. That's where the mind games come in with this guy. You can let this heavy attack go, and you can get execution off of it. Or you can soft feint it like we've been doing. Or if you want to, you can cancel it into a guard break, or you can cancel it into a light attack. Now, I don't see the point too much in canceling into a light attack, because, I mean, you can soft feint it, and you might as well just do that. But you can also cancel it into a guard break, just like this. And another quick thing to add whenever you're doing this full block stance is you can also bait out a parry as well. If you find somebody who's really parry happy, doesn't really know how to react to it, you can just cancel that and wait on him to throw a parry on your unblockable, and then you just parry his attempted parry. And you know, after you parry it, like I said, for me, once I get done with parries, unless there's a wall nearby that I can wall splat after a guard break, then 9 times out of 10 I'm just gonna go straight into my light chain, because, you know, why not, dude? Alright, so real quick before I get into defensive things and some other things about this guy, is I want to touch on his zone, because his zone is one of the most unique ones in the game. The first portion here that comes out always comes from the right side. It's extremely fast, like PK fast. So if you're looking for some guaranteed damage, you throw that zone out there, you can usually get that attack right there. Now the second portion of the zone is an unblockable sweeping attack. It does not allow you to execute, but it is nonetheless an unblockable sweeping attack. Now what you can do is you can play some mind games. You throw the zone, cancel it into a light attack. If they're trying to parry it or if they're trying to dodge, you cancel it into a guard break. Say they don't know how the timing works on it. They you know, they don't want to go for the parry, so instead they try to dodge. You know, you get them on that guard break. A lot of times, actually, what works out really well for me, and I know it's surprising, I zone, and then I'll actually just go into another heavy right afterwards. And the timing is very weird for someone who is used to trying to parry the regular zone. So I just boom, and I let the heavy fly, and I can't even tell you, 9 times out of 10 I connect on that thing. And after I throw it, man, if I have the stam available, I just continue that chain. You know, I throw it here, boom, and I keep going, and it's pretty dirty. Now, like, if someone's at a stam, you can bait out a parry on them. You know, you go here, they try to parry it, you can parry their attempted parry, and then, you know, they're on the ground, you can get out of stamina, some heavies on them. But it's a really good mix-up, really unique. You can do a lot of things with it. I know I mentioned earlier in the video what I like to do is to open somebody up, I might dash forward and do this dashing attack, and I'll feint it. And I'll feint it into a zone. That's like, if you need to get away like a last portion of health from somebody, and you guys have some distance, that's the move to do. That is the move to do right there. You feint it, and you're gonna get that last portion of health, and you're gonna end up killing that guy. So now we're getting more towards the end of what he has in his kit as far as offense abilities go. He has whenever he's not in a locked on state, if he's sprinting and you press R2, he has like a shinobi-like teleport that you know, it lunges forward, attacks from the right side every single time. Now it's really good for tracking down people, man. This thing has really good tracking. You can hawk somebody down with that. But also it has like one of the, like a gladiator-like property, like how the gladiator could miss his and then press square, do a bamboozle attack. Same type of deal on this one. If I miss that first attack and I press R2 again, I'll follow up with the left side attack. And it's actually pretty good for baiting out people. You might purposely whiff this first attack to make them go for an attack on you, and then you can sneak them with the second portion of the sprint attack. And you know, this guy's sprint speed is not too bad. He can actually get around the map at a decent pace. You know, he's not the fastest character in the game, but definitely not the slowest at all. Another thing to note, in case you guys didn't notice out the video, is he does have an active guard, so there's no reflex stance here with this guy, which is great for me, man, because shit, I've been playing with reflex stance for so long. I'm having an active guard. I feel like I can block anything. Now, what we'll get into here, just a few tips on my take on how I defeat an Aramusha, or how I play against him on the defensive side. And I'm gonna include a clip here pretty soon. It's gonna show you how you can beat this guy. Now, I've received a lot of messages and a lot of people talking to me about, like, man, this Aramusha's light spam is crazy. You know, he does have fast lights, I will say that, but I think Ubisoft might have balanced it well here, because in order for him to continue his chain, like we mentioned earlier, is he has to go to the top. In order to keep his chain going, he has to go from the top. Now, once he goes from the top, he can go anywhere, but he cannot go right and then left. He cannot go left and then left. If he goes to the left and or right side, and he wants to continue his chain, the next attack has to go to the top. So if I'm playing an Aramusha and he hits one of these, instantly my guard goes up top. Because if he wants to throw a heavy afterwards on the same side, I have much more reaction time. I can get there. Now, if he soft feints, you know, I'll have to play it by ear and see, you know, try to make a move on that. But as long as I'm in the top, I stop the spam. And if he goes to the heavy on the same side, then okay, I have time to react to it. And like I said, I'm going to include a clip. This is not my first time doing this by any means. I've done this to a lot of Aramushas, but this is probably the best example that I have. I ran out of stamina on this guy, and whenever I'm out of stamina, his lights now have heavy properties. So now if I block a light, it doesn't bounce back. If I block a light, it just goes through my block. So I'm out of stamina, and this guy, you know, just goes for attacks. And you know, I'll show the clip right now. See, so in that clip, I knew that no matter where he went, after he threw the side, he had to go to the top. And that's why, you know, once again, on the offensive perspective, if you want to start your chain, it doesn't have to come from the top, you know, because I do this all the time. I'll throw this, and then right after I throw my light, I'll throw it heavy, you know, because I don't want to be predictable. I don't want to constantly do this. That's how you get parried. That's how you get beat really quickly. That's a light parry, and if a Centurion grabs one of those, man, you know, they can do a whole lot of damage off a light parry. So that's why I don't want to get into a habit of being too predictable and doing that chain. I'll do this one instead, and I'll feint it. But that's, you know, on defense, that's one way where you can stop that spam immediately. Another thing is the guy, you know, he is a feint master. He really, really is a feint master. So I would say be cautious on when you're going to try to go for parries, because, you know, if I'm doing this and you're trying to parry that, you know, if you see this attack come in slow motion, you're like, dude, oh my god, that's an easy parry. But you're kind of falling into a trap. You know, that's their plan, is they want to feint this, or they want to, you know, they could easily, you know, feint it and wait on an attempted parry as well. So be mindful of when you parry this guy. He's very similar to the Gladiator as far as how feint capable he is. Another thing I would do on defense whenever you're going against the Aramusha is try to bait out his all block. If you are doing say you're consistently throwing an attack, every once in a while throw it up and don't throw shit. You know, just feint and then wait. Wait for him to do a full block and then go for the guard break. Like with me, if I'm fighting Aramusha, a lot of times I'll do this right here and I'll fake it. They'll full block, I guard break, and after I guard break, I might wall splat to heavy, or I might guard break and then go into my light chain or something, you know. But whenever you're going against this guy, you know, you got to be mindful of how many times you go for parries. And also keep in mind, if you're going against a really aggressive Aramusha and you notice he's constantly doing this and he's missing, you know, he's trying to guess when your attacks are going to be, that's a surefire sign to show, you know, to throw out some more guard breaks, because this right here, if you pop that, it's an easy guard break. It's free, uncounterable. So if you have a really aggressive Aramusha and he's constantly pulling this right here, you should probably guard break a little bit more often to counter that. Now, another thing I would say on the Aramusha that I kind of maybe skipped over on the defensive side of things is that if you're going against a higher level Aramusha, and I'm talking higher level as in, you know, the character's been out for a while, the guy might have a bunch of prestiges on him, he's, you know, he's a solid Aramusha player. The biggest thing with Aramusha is keep your chain going. And your best tool to keep your chain going, like we've discussed earlier, is your top attack. So if you say it's your first round, you don't really know how this guy is playing, how he wants to play the Aramusha. If he, you know, like his first soft feint, I would say defend the top. High level player, soft feint, defend the top. Because worst case scenario, right? So I throw this and I soft feint, right? If you're a high level Aramusha, the chances of them going to soft feint high or top is more likely, because that will allow them to continue their chain. So they're gonna go there. Now, once they go there, if they land it, they can go either side, you know? Now, worst case scenario, you block top, they go left or they go right. That means you know their next attack has to go top. So if you're in a situation where they're gonna throw out this soft feint and you don't know where it's coming from, I'd say it's you know, your safest bet, the safest way to play it. Not going to be the best way every single time, but the safest way to play it is going to be to deny the top. That way they cannot continue their chain. So yeah, guys, I know this video was a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but I feel like I want to do this character justice because people are saying he's underpowered. Shaman is really strong. But I don't think the Aramusha is underpowered, and I don't think people are saying he's going to be unviable in high level play. I don't think that's necessarily the case. He is going to be easier to counter once people learn how to, just like any new character. But I don't think this guy is by any means going to be a no option type of player. I think he's a great character. I love him. I'm going to keep playing him, get him to a high reputation. You know, he has a lot of mix-up potential. Anywhere between his soft feints to his mind games with his unblockables, to his all-guard stance. I mean, I like the guy. I don't think he's going to be going anywhere anytime soon. And maybe Ubisoft will, you know, give the man a buff and allow him to get a free heavy off a guard break. I think that'd be a really cool improvement for this guy. Hopefully, who knows, man? By the time this video is up and it has been up for a while, they might have already done it. But yeah, I think he's a good character. But I appreciate you guys watching the guide. If it did help you out, let me know by dropping a like or commenting, telling me, you know, what your favorite mix-up. If I missed something, put in the comments so the people who are watching the video can get all the input. I'm sure I missed a few things here and there. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you guys are beasting and feasting with the Aramusha, and I'll see you guys in my next video.